Okay, we're back here at Bloodbath Tactics, episode 6.
Ooh.
It's been awesome so far. I can't even believe we made it to episode 6. Well, I can. I think we have some pretty good content.
Yeah.
I just want to start it off with thanks for everyone's support so far. It's been enormous. I know we said the last one too, but it keeps on growing. And we just had a recent tournament, and some people came up to us and even said, "Hey, great podcast. Thanks for listening, or thank you for sharing your content and your experiences and stuff." And we really enjoyed it, which was really, really cool to hear.
Super weird experience to have someone say, "Hey, I watched your podcast. Good job." And you're like, "Oh, geez. Thank you. Some recognition."
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah,
like, you never expect that, right?
No, it's not like we're famous. We're like Z level famous, if anything.
Yep. B tier.
B tier.
Z tier.
We're just doing this because we like to talk Warhammer. I want to share our knowledge with people.
That's
and
right.
Also learn too. And we've already had some amazing guests on. The last two, Aiden and Dave, were really, really great. Obviously, Tony, he'll be here more often.
Yep.
He's already been on the show twice.
Today, you get just the two of us.
Yeah.
We can make it if we try.
We were going to have, so for some of the listeners who were hoping, I think I said on the Death Guard Facebook group that Adam Green would join us about his Astra Militarium. It's just some scheduling issues. He couldn't get on here, so that's totally fine.
Yeah.
We'll see him again in the future.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the most recent tournament we just had called Rumble in the Rockies, which was just a couple blocks away from where we are now, filming out of a bar, which is pretty cool. So we got some beers and
good
we're
old
good to go.
CAX podcast and bar. And yeah, for those not familiar with Calgary and the local event centers and stuff, most of our tournaments happen at game stores. Most of them don't happen at convention centers. So this was kind of a cool one. Rumble in the Rockies. I believe it was Rumble in the Rockies' second year of existing, but it was the first year for the 40K tournament, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right? So it was a whole multiple games. There was Age of Sigmar. There was Marvel Crisis Protocol, I think it's called. What else was there? Do you remember? There was a few other ones.
Star Wars Legion.
Right.
Star Wars X-Wing.
Right.
Did you say Underworlds?
No, I didn't.
Underworlds as well.
It was like a big Underworld tournament. That was like
massive.
That was
one.
a big one.
Yeah. And it was only one day, but it's still a massive tournament.
I think it was because we saw that we met the guy who won, and he actually got either offered or given a chance to travel to the World Championships. So big deal with in the Underworld's world, which I have no experience with at all. It looks cool. You get to sit down the whole time. Yeah. Also.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
That's actually.
I felt. Okay, so the convention center was great, and hey, thanks for Calvin for I know there's other organizers. I only know Calvin, so I do apologize if I don't mention all of you. Thanks for organizing that tournament.
And Thomas, TOing it, did a great job.
Yeah, and Thomas running the 40K tournament.
Yep.
I just got to say about the tables.
Okay.
The tables were so low, and for guys like me and Ben who are above 6 feet,
sure.
are like I don't know about you, but my knees,
oh man,
like at the back of my knees. I was talking to Adam Green about this too, and he's tall. He's even taller than me. He might be. No, I don't think he's taller.
Nobody's taller than me. I'm the tallest person in the world.
It's unreal. But all of our back of our knees were just strained.
Your dogs are barking.
Something
puppies serious.
Were chewing.
They were chewing because they're not gaming tables. They are just normal sized tables that we're all just leaning over. If you look at all the pictures that got taken throughout the event, there's hunchbacks everywhere. Mm-hmm. Again, a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. If you're playing a 40K tournament for 2 days, your feet are going to hurt. Doesn't matter how good it is. Mm-hmm. Rumble in the Rockies was super cool. There was a couple of vendors there selling their custom made dice.
The Tap Games?
Taps Games, which is a store out of Edmonton. Was very kind enough to sponsor some of the prizes and stuff for.
They have great
some
prizes.
Good money. For local tournament stuff, I think the Wooden Spoon guy got $200 to
200 credit, and then I think best sport, best overall, and best journal each got 100.
That's huge.
$500, dude. That's awesome.
That's really good. That's great support for a relatively small tournament. It was the biggest one that we're going to have locally this month.
Yeah,
because we're kind of not quite into proper tournament season. Mm-hmm. They're coming hard and fast in the next few months, but this is for March at least. I think it's relatively quiet.
I think there's supposed to be one at the end of the month, but it's Vancouver.
Wet Coast.
Yeah.
So we actually did have someone from either organizing it or help promote it. Make a quick thing at the end of our tournament saying about Wet Coast. Which is going to be huge. I think they said it's the biggest one in Canada.
They already have 194 people signed up.
That's crazy. 194. Still 5 games, I would assume.
Could be 2 days. Could be 6 at that point.
Oh, it could very easily be 6 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But Rumble in the Rockies was, I think, a huge success. People seem to be having a good time. It wasn't, I don't think they got quite the numbers they wanted for 40K as far as like player numbers. But the thing that kind of happens that kind of didn't, I should have expected, I suppose, was when you have a smaller number, you get all the hardcores, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like that was a stacked field. We've got, and we'll get into it a little bit maybe later, but we had a Team Canada player. We had some Team Canada hopefuls, I'm sure, at some point. There's no, not to besmirch anyone ever, but in every tournament there's going to be your
top dogs,
and your bottom dogs. So not to be rude or anything. There's going to be people who win no games, right? That's going to happen no matter.
But we
what.
all started tournaments somewhere,
100%.
right? Like you can't
100%
go into your first tournament and expect to be the best. Unless you are. Right,
unless you play your first tournament like me and just get best overall, and then just snipe it like that.
Right. Sniped.
Just snipe it like that.
But you know what? You had a beautifully painted army.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I think so. I think you're nicer painted, nice.
I appreciate that.
I think. You're well articulated, especially with the rules, and you could figure out the gameplay. So, regardless if this is your first tournament, you played a lot of competitive play.
I played a lot, yeah. So, but the point I was going to make was, there's going to be always in any tournament, there's going to be the people who place lowest, but in a low player count game or a low player count tournament in a city which is highly competitive, there was, I think, only 27 players. There was easily 20 top dogs of Calgary.
Oh yeah,
like without a doubt.
Yeah.
So super competitive. As soon as we got into like round 2 and pairings were based on record and opponent win percentage and that kind of stuff, it was a hard tournament. That was a very hard tournament.
Yeah,
so
I felt every match I was playing was just hard,
just grindy. Yeah, just like you got to get every single point you can, which is awesome. It was
interesting thing about the tournament. It was scored on strength of schedule, which is different. Usually you kind of go win record and then you go to points. Right.
Yeah.
And this one was win record and then it was strength of schedule.
Right. Opponent win percentage, strength of schedule, kind of the same thing, I think. But
yeah.
And we discussed this kind of after the fact, and I'm not a big fan of it personally. I don't know how you think. What do you think?
I've always. I guess this is like coming back to my Magic career. It was always about strength schedule because it does go to your record. But I went to a GT and it was, I think, 2,300 people. Wow. And so you're going to have...
Where was that?
Atlantic City.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, at the end of round 1, you're going to have 1,300 one of those.
Right. That's a lot of people.
So as it keeps on going on, it has to be about your opponent's win percentage.
Right. At that volume of people.
Because it's not about points ever, right? Because it's about did you win or lose.
I was about to ask that question. In Magic, knowing I don't know anything about MTG at all, there's no points. Like you win or you lose.
Yeah.
So it has to be opponent win percentage.
Right. So I've been kind of used to it.
Right.
It's not... I don't think it's a bad system. I understand, and I do appreciate that you can't really game out of it either.
I think that's the best argument. That's the steelman argument for it. Is that you can't try to dodge other players by manipulating your own score. You can't give up 5 points, 10 points here or there, knowing you're going to crush your opponent. Yeah, and try to dodge that team player, a team
right. Like
player.
I'm like, say you took fixed, and you went bring it down. Like I'm not going to kill that one thing. I already won this game. I already dominate you in the primary.
Right.
I'm not going to go kill that one thing so I can dodge my next matchup and get my 5-0.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Because who cares if I beat you 100 to 40 or if I beat you 95 to 40? Doesn't matter. But it could matter if they're looking at points for matchups.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
For sure.
At the same time, too, though, like you can be going against another teammate and then you want the extra points or whatever, and you might get it. I know that's not okay, and TOs will generally catch it. I know you will, but sometimes it happens, and they get pushed up in little points, and they push out other people at top 8 or whatever it is. Right?
Worth noting, just to be clear about how they handled at Rumble in the Rockies, was I don't know if we ever got confirmation on this. TOs kind of don't want to release everything while it's being played, so I understand there's a little bit held back.
Screening, yeah.
Right. So I think the way they handled it, from what I understood, was your first round completely random, as I think all tournaments are.
Yep.
Second round was record, then randomized. I don't think they actually went by opponent win percentage. I'd have to dig into it or maybe ask one of the TOs.
Yeah.
I think they might have just randomized it straight up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But the thing that we're kind of talking about how opponent win percentage comes in was the final standings. So
I sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I do think that there was not random. It was randomized for all 1-0s. And
That's
then
what I mean. It's
randomized for all 0-1s.
Record and then randomized.
Like randomized, so their record
Within the bracket.
puts them in a pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, and then if you have an odd number, you're gonna have someone playing up and someone playing down, and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you get paired down, paired up.
But regardless, it was a very enjoyable tournament, very high skill level tournament for sure. That helped. Maybe some people struggled into such a format, or I mean, we could all blame terrain. We could blame all kind of things.
No, you can blame terrain.
We're not going to go over my performance.
No.
It was
It
was unfortunately my worst performing tournament. I went to 2-3. It does happen.
Yeah, but I would say too that your losses are within 6 to 7 points.
Yes, they were, and yeah.
So I mean, like, when you're at 6 to 7 points of a difference, there was probably a mistake somewhere or a dice roll somewhere. We don't know. It's too hard to backtrack.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, ultimately, it's a loss. But there's somewhere that it happened, and we don't know. And we could probably improve on it if we knew, but
100% could improve. And I'm definitely one of those people who it feels bad to lose. You at the end of that tournament, I'm like, I think we had a beer afterwards, and I was like, I'm not playing Knights anymore. I'm like, I'm done. It's too hard. I don't like it.
I don't want to lose them more.
I'm sick of losing. But I also am the kind of player who will analyze what I did wrong, what I could do better. And improve from there, right? There's that. If you don't have, and I think every person who plays and wants to be competitive has to have that. You can't just be like, well, I got unlucky. Yeah. Which it could be true that you did get unlucky, but that's not. There's nothing to build on from there. There's no growth.
There is a game of chance. I mean, we are playing a dice game.
We're playing a dice game. It's going to happen. There was. I won't get into it too much. There was in my final game against Dave that we did have on our podcast previous. He was playing his Grey Knights. He's incredible at Grey Knights. I think he ended last ITC season as like the second best in Canada in Grey Knights. Like he's very, very good. He's playing into my Knights, which is my Imperial Knights, which is the worst matchup he could ask for. And there was one point that I will never forget. It's burned into my brain. My Canis Rex was shooting at one of his Dread Knights, and Canis's big gun is D6 shots. I rolled a 3, and I'm like, I don't think that's mathematically quite enough.
You can't.
I re-rolled it.
You don't re-roll.
What do you think I
threes?
re-rolled it into?
2.
No, a 1.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
And I even said to Dave when that happened, I was like, Dave, we're gonna look back at this game, and that's gonna be where I lost it. That was like the first turn. I'm like, I know for a fact this is where it happened.
Yeah.
And on that,
I learned that lesson a long time ago. Never re-roll the 3.
Never
Just take
re-roll
it.
a 3.
Just
but if it's
take
not
it.
good enough, I have to. But
what's worse?
1 is worse.
Oh,
way,
yes.
way worse.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't do so hot. However, our good friend Cass here ended 4-1.
Yeah, I got a 4-1 in the tournament. I ended up in 6. But my points were a little bit higher. But again, it was strength of schedule. But I ended up in 6th place, I think. Yeah,
that's right. So that's where we were kind of discussing. Opponent win percentage was the tiebreaker on final standings.
For sure.
Right. So there was a bunch of people. There's only one person undefeated 5-0 won the tournament.
Yeah.
There was, I want to say like 7 or 8 4-1s.
No, 6. Or no, 5 because it would have been. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we can look at it real quick if you got it handy.
I might here. Yeah, it was because there was 1 5-0 and then the 5 4-1s.
Was it 5? Okay.
I can pull it up real quick.
Which we should say, hats off to all the guys that went 4-1.
Because my last opponent, Matthew Sector, got 7th.
And he was 3-2.
He was 3-2.
Right.
Yeah. So I was the last. I was the bottom of the 4-1s,
right,
essentially.
And if we were to look at the names on that list, it would be some names very familiar to people who have watched the show.
Yep.
So
we got Adam Green took the whole thing, 5-0.
Adam Green took it down, and I think we'll dig into his list a little bit.
I think so,
because
the viewers need to know.
Well, the viewers deserve to know.
They deserve. This list is awesome.
This list is awesome, but even before the tournament, we were looking at the lists and talking to each other. And I'm like, if I were to play guard, this is what I would play.
Yeah, I agree.
It's super. I guarantee that list was fun to play.
Oh, for
has
sure.
to have been
indirect
fun.
and just Bulgrins.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Spoiler alert. There's some indirect involved.
And Bulgrins.
And Bulgrins.
And we'll get to why those are good.
We'll get to why they're super good. Second place was our good friend David Corin playing his Grey Knights. It was funny. Again, a quick aside on my match with him. There was a point in mid-game, turn 3, turn 4, where I had said my intention to do something, make a move, but I clearly had not done it in the movement phase. And then come his turn, he was doing movement, and I'm like, oh, Dave, do you mind if I do a little takesy-backsies right here because I forgot to do my movement? And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, come on, man. It's like I nudged him, and I'm like, we're buddies. Come on, let me take the take back. And he's like, Ben, if I win this, I'm second place. I'm like, yeah, all right. All right. No cool. Takesies, backsies in like the whole different turn, not like one phase apart, a whole turn
and
apart.
I mean a whole turn, like
a whole turn.
And even if we're buds, I don't know. In a tournament, I'd be saying,
listen, if anybody told me to eat shit, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough.
yeah, like you're asking a lot.
So David did very, very good. He, if I had won that game, which I was definitely favored, just matchup based, he would not have come second, but he did come second. Third place was taken up by our resident Necron Pro, Aiden. Who ran a list, identical to what he outlined on our podcast? Maybe not quite.
No, because he ran Canoptic. I think he said he wanted to go Hyperphase, but he ran 3 Catan, a bunch of Doomstalkers, 12 Race.
That's right. He did go Canoptic Court. That's true.
And we can get into his list too a little later.
We can touch it.
Great player too.
We had our good friend who we haven't had on the podcast yet. Jake, who extremely impressive for Jake.
I think Jake's the reason we know each other.
Jake is the reason we know each other. 100%. We both knew Jake separately. And he introduced me to the CAX bar and the Boxcars crew and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So Jake did fantastic. Jake was top table finals against Adam and got a little bit smushed. But hey, man, going 4-1, being at top table finals for, I think, Jake's third tournament, maybe ever.
Third, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Huge. Crazy.
But you know what? Like, in granted, I mean, Jake's a freaking great player too. God, he's analytical. It's awesome. That matchup for him was probably the worst he could get paired up with, and I think that's why Adam brought this crazy tech of a match, because Custodians are so good, Race is so good. He just brought the list that could ultimately, kind of tear down that a heavy infantry, tough infantry kind of format, right? So. If I think if Jake would have went first, I think he would have had a chance.
Yes.
The fact that he went second, he has no chance.
Unfortunately,
honestly,
that's kind of how that went.
In 9th edition, Imperial Guard were like Death Guard's worst matchup. They still probably are one of my worst.
Right. Did you play Adam or no?
I didn't. That's why I'm 6th place.
Right, because
everyone else, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th all played Adam for strength of schedule.
Which is we looked at that. That's right. We looked at that the other day, and
so look at Adam's matchups.
Adam's matchups were the top 5 players.
Crazy.
That's it. Like, the man deserves the win.
100%.
Clearly, without a doubt.
Yeah.
There's no luck involved. There's no nothing.
No.
You
Adam is great.
Everybody who was the best.
Yeah. To make you the best.
Exactly. So Jake did fantastic with his Custodies. We've got our good friend Tony, who was playing his Dark Eldar. His Drukhari. Sorry.
We're cool.
Copyright distinct Drukhari.
We're cool.
Who he was, I don't think he'd be afraid for me to say or ashamed or anything. He was a little bit on the fence about even playing.
Yeah, I think he was leaning towards Black Templar.
Dark Angels.
Angels? No. He could do both.
He could do both, for sure.
But on his birthday, the weekend prior, he was talking to me, because he can actually just make a, Grimaldus Black Templar.
Okay, gotcha.
But there's one that won the Deathwing that weekend as well, or Death Knights or whatever, he wanted to maybe do that. So I think it was on the fence, but I think he committed to the Dark Eldar.
He's been practicing hard with his Drukhari list. He was missing a few key pieces. He was running all Raiders, no Vipers.
Venoms.
Venoms, yeah.
Because they can do the move back in,
pop out,
for free
as like their own like built-in data sheet ability.
Yeah, it's a free.
And he managed to get a couple before the tournament. And I think, like I said, he had mixed success. Every time I played my Knights in him, he smashed me. Dark Lances just hurt a lot. Spoiler alert, crazy. But he did really good. He ended, he was 5th, you were 6th.
Dark Lancer is still kind of lottery cannon, though. I get the pain token rerolls,
sure.
But like...
They hit on, also on Scourge, they hit on 4s. If you're not giving them pain tokens, then that's 50% of them done, right? There's a squad of 4 shots. That's 2 down. If you're shooting into a big knight, you're wounding on 4s. That's 1 Dark Lance getting through. Having said that, 1 Dark Lance can do 8 damage. So that's a lot of damage.
But then I guess your average, because it's what is it? Dark Lance D6 plus 2?
D6 plus 2, yeah.
Yeah. So your average damage is 5, 6?
Right. But when you...
On average.
Yes. But when you run, like, I would say the average Drukhari list probably has 20 Dark Lances at least. It's going to hurt a little bit.
With my rerolls? Okay.
And
What
you
do
give
you
some rerolls. That's a little bit...
So your average damage output is...
Well,
I'm doing it.
I'm doing the math. Go for
it. So we got... You said 20?
I would... Look, okay, I think 20 is not low. 20 is probably a little bit low. Let's say 20. What's the math on 20?
The math on 20 is... So that's 10 getting in, 5 getting in, so 5 getting in. It's about 20 average damage without rerolls. So you'd probably go in at 32.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's a big night.
Yeah.
That's a big night.
Right, but that's one big night, all at it, on
That's
average.
True.
Right? That's what you consider. So with the rerolls, you probably had an average of 32 damage because they are a bit of a lottery cannon.
Right, sure.
But
that's
we got a reroll. Right?
But yeah, he did very good. He got 5th. And then our good buddy Cass, with his death card, managed to pull 6th.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't mind, Cass, we'll maybe dig into your performance. My performance, for anybody interested, 20th. To the big 2-0.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Again, granted, you had some close matchups.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I had some close matchups.
But
the terrain was maybe the worst terrain for vehicles I've ever seen at any tournament ever. This is not a slight to Thomas or anybody who set it up. Everybody has to play on the same terrain. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, my Militarium was awkward.
Your Militarium was awkward. You had a couple
flies,
Predators that were probably a little bit awkward here and there.
Nah,
did you have enough room? You had a little squeeze there?
Yeah, they're 4-inch.
All right, I just got fucked. It's fine.
They're fine.
I got fucked.
Yeah.
But let's, if you don't mind, if we'll jump into your schedule and how it went.
Well, I'll start off with a list.
Yes,
so
for sure.
This is a big shout out for my list here. I didn't have any time to really practice. I think I tried to set up some games maybe with you and Tony and everyone else.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite make it work. Working so much and with the little one. No fault. I like doing it. So
that's life.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I did net list this. I'm not the biggest net lister, but say sometimes you gotta do it. And 100%. I listen to these guys' podcasts. I think they have a great insight. I guess he's the best death card player.
Do you want to shout them out? You shut them out before, I'm sure.
Yeah, Discussing Resilient. Yeah. Aiden's he's great. I love listening to you guys. I appreciate you guys listening to us too. And the comments you leave, it's awesome. So let's get into it. First things first. So I always have Militarium. I love Militarium.
Yeah. And that's one question I was going to ask you. Is there a death guard list without Militarium?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
100%.
So. Eh? Really?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's not your list, obviously, but
I just like his style. It's more my style to play with him.
Okay.
There's tons of lists without him. I think you can go more Plague Marines and kind of go more MSU style.
Gotcha. Okay.
Spread out, go in different directions, and really control the game.
Right.
In that way, you kind of Rhino Plague Marine spam, or there's bloat drones too, which are pretty good.
Right,
so a little more bloat drone spam.
Gotcha. Because Mortarion is what, 4?
325.
Oh, under 4. Wow.
Yeah.
What a deal.
I'd say so.
Steal of a deal.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
For ignore modifiers.
Ignore modifiers, get rerolls of wound rolls of 1.
Right.
So that's really great on last cannons.
And Plague Works Crawlers.
Like anything.
Yeah. Basically anything.
Anything.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always a good one too. He doesn't do that much in combat. He can whiff quite often.
Sure. Right.
But he's still that kind of piece that keeps everyone scared. He is tough as nails.
He's still a Demon Primarch, man.
Yeah.
16
wounds,
when you say
212.
whiff, you mean on the scale of Demon Primarchs whiffing.
Yeah, I think he died twice this tournament.
Out of 5 games. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds about right. So Morty up top, obviously.
Yeah, Morty, and then I got his best friend and worst enemy, Typhus.
Oh, is that a lore? Little hint to the lore?
Yeah, they used to be best friends back in Barbarous before he was discovered by the Emperor, and then Typhus kind of helped him out, and then Typhus was actually being sneaky and betrayed him and kind of separated the Death Guard Legion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they hate each other.
Typhus was not loyalist though.
No.
Okay.
No. He was just another guy on Barbarous that's being tortured.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We can get more into that later. Anyways, so I have Typhus, and he's really more. Every single round I played him solo. Never attached him to a unit.
Gotcha.
If I did attach him to a unit, he usually gives -1 to hit in melee. What I did is because his base is so small, having him in deep strike,
Right.
I went fixed the entire tournament.
Oh, that's interesting. I was actually going to ask you about that because you are one of the few people I know who does that at all.
Yeah.
Not still does that. The edition is very young, so to speak.
I do tactical with like other armies, but I do fixed with Death Guard.
Only with Death Guard. Well, after your list, we'll dig into that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So with Typhus, his main role was throwing mortal wound bombs and deploying teleport homers. Sometimes if I couldn't, he can hit really hard in melee.
Sure.
I would just charge him in.
Sure.
I had Lord of Villarance. He was always attached to my Death Guard or my Death Shroud squad.
Right.
He gives the unit full rerolls of wounding on ranged attacks, which all are flamers.
Right, which is great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you're
Yeah, anti-infantry
auto
4
hitting, rerolling all your wounds. Anti-infantry 4 up.
Yeah.
So you're wounding Terminators, you're beating the shit out of Terminators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And majority of the time I would choose the extra -1 to save as my contagion. So
Right.
my flamers now have a -1.
Ooh. That's spicy.
Foul
That's
by
spicy.
spawn.
Yeah.
He gets fight first if he's attached to Plague Marines.
Gotcha.
It's a good flamer. It's mostly for the fight first.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then the Biologus Putrefier, I never leave without him.
Okay.
He has a grenade strat. He also gives lethals on 5.
Right.
Ranged or combat, doesn't matter.
And that guy, for those who, like myself, who don't know exactly how Death Guard works, every minutia, that was the one that got data slate changes.
Yeah.
Changed in the data slate.
Yeah.
That's doesn't matter how many. What's it called again? The
Biologus Putrefier.
Biologist Putrefier.
Biologus.
Doesn't matter how many of them you have. You can't just can't free grenade strat like crazy.
You get 1 free grenade strat per battle round. Yeah.
Got it. Per battle round. That's what they said.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But you just take the one, so you're not really worrying about that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I still had him in. These guys were mainly equipped, so both of them were equipped to a 10-man plague.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So I had that 10-man plague marine. It was kind of kitted out to, for everyone who does know, it's a lot of heavy weapons,
Okay.
a lot of melee. I had a blight launcher on there. I just kind of kitted out to what I had. I want to add meltas into it. I think meltas would be really, really lethal, especially with the 5+ lethal hits that Biologus gives.
Oh, hell yeah. Because it's just a normal strength 9 melta, right?
Strength 9 melta and then 12-inch. But I'm jumping out of rhinos with it, so I get really close.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I have another 5-man Plague Marine squad kitted out with a Plague Belcher, just a little bit more shooty, and then a little bit of combat stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
1 rhino. So
or one of those squads, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you my strategy in a bit, but I have 1 rhino.
Okay, got it.
Okay, Plague
Okay.
Combi Belcher.
Stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, and then another chaff unit of occultists. I don't really like running without them. They're my fast unit. They have Scout 6, so I can get on in some missions. In particular, our first round, I can actually get onto an objective.
Yeah.
First round, and then if I went first, I'm on it, and then it goes to my command phase. It's now stuck. Because all of Death Guard are sticky.
Right.
So my first round, I could actually get my cultists onto that first one and get it stuck no matter what.
And I was just looking, that's 50 points?
50
for
points,
10 of them. So you get the scout, because I know in World Eaters, their jackals, their cultist equivalent.
Yeah.
They have sticky objective, but no scout. You, as an army rule, have sticky objective, right?
Army rule sticky.
It's the army rule?
Yeah.
So your scout, is huge. If you get first turn, you just sticky that objective immediately.
Yeah, and then it's actually contaminated, so then it now has an aura of contagion as well.
Great combo.
Yeah.
Fantastic use, yeah.
And this is some of the tech that the Discussing Resilient guys were talking about, and I agree with it completely, is the Predator Destructors.
Okay.
Now, they don't have a 5-up involved. They're just kind of a 3-up save a vehicle.
Right.
But they're 130 points.
Okay.
And I can equip it with a bunch of weapons.
Right.
I just did the autocannon, which is strength 9, AP -1, 3 damage flat.
Mm-hmm.
When it's shooting infantry, I get an extra -1.
How many shots?
4, rapid fire 2. So 6 if I'm close. But it's 48-inch range. So 24 inches is rapid fire.
Not that hard to get. Yep.
Easy to get.
Yep.
So I could just kill Terminator squads. I can kill Custodies. I can kill Race. Now Race is a little awkward just because they're at 4, but at least I can kill some Race.
Yeah, sorry, I might have interrupted you because they are a Death Guard Predator. You get the -1 AP against infantry only.
Right.
Or improved AP.
Yeah,
sorry.
improved. And then also, if I have my contagion on them, it's another one.
Of course, right. Wow.
Right.
So, and they have -1 built in, obviously.
Yeah.
So now you're
I can go up to AP -3.
Potentially -3.
I can potentially go up to -4 with the stratagem.
So
Never really came up, though, because the ones I'm shooting at had invulse, so it didn't matter.
Right. Because, you're looking at your Terminator equivalents and stuff like that. They're going to be planted in cover and armor of contempt.
Right.
But you're still getting an AP on them.
Armor of contempt doesn't work.
Ooh, if you're near good old Morty. Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
So that's my tech against, Custodes and Wraiths mainly.
Yep.
But it was good against other Termies, like the Grey Knight Termies. It was good against. I could
Termies. You didn't hit any Votan, did you?
I didn't hit the Votan, but it would have been good
Yeah, it
against
would have been
Hearthkin.
great into Hearthkin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I have 2 of those. They each have last cannons on the side as well.
Right. Why not?
Yeah.
For good measure.
Well, for good measure, for killing knights,
That's right.
or killing like big. Actually,
any armor.
Well, knights was my first matchup.
There was a fair amount of armor out there. Yeah, you did Chaos Knights first
Chaos
matchup.
Knights,
We'll get to that. Yeah.
6-man blob of Death Shroud. I kept it as 6. I usually do 2 3s. This time I kept it as 6.
Okay.
First time running it, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun hitting people with 24 melee attacks.
Yeah. Right.
Hitting on 2 strength 8 AP minus truly effective
for
because of
me, who is a Death Guard newbie, doesn't know anything. Death Shroud is a Terminator, and that because there's 2 types of Terminators you can take in.
Right.
This is the more fighty one, or what's the
right? They're actually they're Militarium's guards. They're kind of invisible technically.
Okay.
They're the more fighty ones. They have the big size.
Hold on, how are they invisible?
Is
this another
I
lore
think
minute?
it's their
Real quick?
cloak on them. I can't remember how.
Like Harry Potter invisibility cloak? Is that what we're doing here?
Kind of like that, or
Cloak
sort of True Series, kind of more it. Anyways, but
okay, got it.
They're the ones with the big sight. They're more comedy,
Right,
and they
so
have
they're
the
combat
flamer
focused.
pistols, and them equipped with Lord of Virulence.
Yes.
Would,
Gotcha. Just a bomb.
Also, secondly, on Lord of Virulence, he does give +1 to hit with blast weapons if he can see the target.
Right. Okay.
And ignores cover. So if I can see a target with the Lord, my Plague Burst Crawlers get +1 to hit and ignore cover on their blast.
That's who does that. Okay, fantastic. Which you're deep striking him in with the Death Shroud and seeing their back lines and
exactly.
Because that ability also works even if he's in combat. He can see something 12 inches away, whatever.
Sure.
Doesn't change anything.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It did come up a few times. It definitely came up in my last matchup with Tau.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I did run a bloat drone. I don't have the one with bite launchers, which is what an Aiden runs. I've always ran flesh mowers. It's the models I have, so I ran flesh mowers still.
Flesh mowers.
Yeah, flesh.
Is that what
mowers.
it's actually called?
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Solid
Strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage. A marine killer.
Yes, just blends them up.
Well, especially I give the extra contagion and anyways, so it just 10 attacks, get in there.
And sorry, you said 2 of those? One of those?
One
of those?
One.
Okay, gotcha.
Most of the time they come on strategic reserves.
Sure.
And
they're
they kind
pretty
of charge
fast though, right?
10-inch move, flying.
Yep, right. Makes sense.
And they can fall back, shoot, and charge.
Oh, cool.
So I can fall back, do an action.
Yes.
Which is the kind of
little
key.
bit of utility, little bit of picking up small units, small infantry here and there.
Yeah, and they lost a bit of points too.
Sure.
I went down to only 2 Plague Burst Crawlers on this one.
Right.
1 had HP cannons, which is like our last cannon.
Gotcha.
But its range is decreased to 24 inches. So it's a little annoying.
Yeah,
you got to be a little
feel
aggressive
great.
with them.
Sure, right.
The other one, I stuck to Flamers. So I was aggressive with that one sometimes. If they had deep strikes, I would keep him in the back. So if they ever deep strike in my backfield, I
could
could
a bit. Yeah.
Flame
Oh,
her
and to flame them, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Both a body 2 screen and also a punish.
And then the classic 3 little Nurglings.
Little Nurglings.
They're great. Sometimes I have them deep strike. Sometimes I didn't. I would just infiltrate them in the center of the board just for deploy teleport homers.
He might even ran, was it 2 or 3 bigs?
He ran 3 bigs, 3 smalls.
Which is, so I ran 3 bigs in Imperial Knights, which is kind of wild, but within reason. Running 3 bigs in Chaos Knights is probably unheard of. I don't think you ever do that. I think.
Why is that?
Because the War Dog spam is the meta list.
Yeah,
You do 12 War Dogs of some kind, 12, 11 War Dogs, something like that. If you take 1 big knight, you're taking like a Rampager, just because that was a very, from what I understand, a very diverse armament. You can kind of handle all comers kind of thing. Running 3 big knights is crazy in Chaos Knights.
Right. Okay.
You just don't do that.
Yeah. I guess not. And I guess it definitely helped my victory for sure. Because I could just eliminate his assets quite quickly.
Right.
So I did go fixed in this, as I said before. With every single match I went fixed.
I was going to say, if you don't mind, touch on that in a quick second, because
sure.
I've done literally the opposite. And now this could just be different play style, different armies, different factions, different whatever. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I've found that tactical, I like the CP generation.
Yep.
How do you don't think you need CP generation, or?
I think I need it at times for sure.
Right.
I think there is matchups I have been a little starved.
You feel it? Yeah.
The one thing I
genuinely?
The one thing I would like, what I like the most is being in control of the game. So when I am in fixed, I feel like I can kind of at least maneuver my units into a spot where I can score the most points. With tactical, it just gives us like this set of randomness.
Oh, for sure. And it's much more random, yeah.
You know, I ultimately, and hey, Matt, if you're listening, I mean, yeah, if you drew capture enemy outpost, I would have lost. But you didn't, right? And I don't like that factor. I like the fact that I can be in control of a game and design a list. I mean, in this case, I didn't design the list, but I have a list that would ultimately play fixed to its strongest point.
Right. And it's interesting to hear you say that, because I almost think you have less control in the fact that if you were taking fixed, you know what you're doing, which is true. You're in the driver's seat. You're putting your units in position to do these objectives. Mm-hmm. But your opponent also knows what those objectives are. Mm-hmm. They also know the units you're putting in those positions to those objectives. So you are in the driver's seat, but there's more counterplay available. It's harder to counterplay against tactical, obviously, because I don't know what I'm going to draw. You don't know what I'm going to draw.
Sure.
Right.
But in that case, too, that's why I don't like ever taking with some fixed, like bring it down and assassinate. Right? Okay, I don't like taking 2 killies, because if I do, then you just hide the assassinate and just give me bring it. Right? And then you counter 20 points of me, right?
That's
why fair. I like having an action-based one and a killy one.
Say you're playing, say I'm playing knights, right? Say that player is taking chaos knights, and you do fixed, bring it down, assassinate, and you're like, well, he could just hide his fixed his characters and his vehicles. Mm-hmm. He can't play the game like that. He literally cannot do that.
Sure. I mean, in a night matchup, that's fine. Right. Okay. In other matchups, it's not.
I think it's rare.
So in a night matchup, I just want deploy and bring it down. Right. Okay. So bring it down is going to be my easy 20. Right. Sure. And then deploy, I have to situate myself. So I could infiltrate onto the board with my Nurglings, score the 3 points in the center. For sure. And then come round 2, he's not going to be able to screen me out that well with the Typhus. So I can swing my Typhus in the background and just keep deploying in the back.
All right.
Right. So I'm going to get almost max on deploy.
If he kills Typhus, what's the plan for deploy after that?
Well, I also put in my bloat drone into reserve. So him coming out, sneak up behind cover, and then come and sneak in the back.
Which is T9, T8, something like that?
T9, 10 wounds.
So it won't die to small arms fire, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I got you.
Right?
I got you. It's a different style, but I like it. Okay.
So, round 1, he got engaged in overwhelming force, which he did score on both. Okay. I only got deploy for 3. I couldn't kill any of his Titans or his Knights.
Yeah, of course. You're not going to first turn. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And are you, if you don't mind me asking, are you, when you're playing into this matchup, let's say, are you taking a defensive posture with Mortarion, or are you putting him up there?
I went defensively right at the start with him behind cover. I didn't want any shots on him.
Right, because he got some big guns.
But what I would do is put my chaff and like my cultists and my Nurglings in front, allowing him to charge in and try to take over the center point, giving my Mortarion a counter charge.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, hiding him for turn 2, turn 3 kind of thing.
Also, when it came to the strategy, I mentioned the one Rhino.
Okay.
A lot of the times, I would actually start my Rhino hiding behind an objective, or at least hiding behind, not behind an objective, behind a building.
Yep.
But only slightly, that I can actually advance into behinding another building and use as a launch pad. And what I would do is I put the 5-man Plague Marine squad in that Rhino and the 10-man out. Okay. And I would launch the 5-man Plague Marine out to where close to an objective where I can get to, and then redeploy the other 10 in and move.
Oh, interesting. Right.
Because you get the extra 3 inches, and if I advance, I get whatever.
So that little 5-man is going out taking objectives like an infiltrator squad would
Axis potentially
fodder. Right. Axis fodder. They have to invest some kind of firepower to take it down, but you're okay if it dies. It dies every game, basically. Yeah. But then you have your 10-man in the Rhino back it up,
which is the counter charge.
I like it. Very cool. Very smart. Yeah.
So that's the way I generally use the Rhino. Okay. It allowed me to use it as a launch pad and kind of throw Plague Marines whatever direction I wanted to. Right. Okay.
Right. And then I think that's a perhaps underused strategy is embarking a unit into a Rhino. Yeah. Utilizing that extra movement. Yeah. I don't think it's, if you're looking at the top echelons of play, I don't think it's underused, but I think in medium mid-level play, it's not a strategy that people take into account. So that's a good move. Very smart move. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You did a good thing, Cass, by my accounting. So,
so next round I got 8 on bringing down. So I think I killed the big guy and a war dog.
That sounds right. Is it 5 and 8? 5 and 3?
5 and 3.
5
yeah.
and 3. That sounds
so
right.
I got 2 out. Having the last him coming in trying to charge the center, expose them a bit. I can get Militarium down the center. Okay. I also had my Predators shooting last cannons at it and my HP cannons to do some chip damage, and Militarium finishing off the big guy.
I was going to say, what is killing big knights? It's las cannons and Militarium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, gotcha.
And then I had Typhus in the background just to scoring teleport homers, and I left the bloat drone in. I didn't bring him in yet.
Not yet. Right. Sure.
Third turn comes in.
Yep.
Third turn comes in. Comes right out of reserves. Goes right in the background. Typhus moves up. Starts trying to charge somebody, and then my bloat drone is now scoring the points in the back.
Right.
With Typhus's mortal wound bomb, I could kind of do even more chip damage.
Yep.
And if I get a charge in, he does hit relatively strong strength 9.
Oh yeah, mortal wounds are great against Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Love them.
And then I'd rather have my strength 7 weapon on the bloat drone kind of hiding in the background, doing this nonsense.
Yeah, because Typhus can punch up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, strength 9. So, I mean, he's still wounding on 5s, but he has lethal hits, and they do 3 damage.
He does have lethal hits. There you go. Yeah. Then that's how you punch up.
And a 4 pinball, like he can probably survive a smackback.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And hey, if you want to hit just that guy, he's 80 points. Go for it.
Whatever.
Right?
Great.
The bloat drone's worth more. And it's scoring more points.
That's right. Gotcha. Cool.
Now, in round 2, I kind of want to mention this. And hey, James, if you're listening, sorry about the mistake. But my opponent moved his big knight off of his home objective.
Okay.
And then, on his turn, he drew extended battle lines. And then he moved it off his home objective.
Yep.
Only slightly. So he still kind of had it on, so he could actually for extend battle lines. He could still control. But then I just rapid ingress on top of it.
Right, I did hear about this.
Yeah,
I did hear about this.
So I was able to rapid ingress right under his objective and steal it from him. That he couldn't score extend battle lines.
It's funny you mentioned that because I think I learned in this tournament that there is a baby extend.
If you just control
I think just controlling something in no man's land.
Yeah, he didn't. Well, that didn't happen either.
Well, that didn't happen either.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
At this point, he's already lost.
Yeah.
He's also has 3 big knights and actually has 2 war dogs left. I just kind of cleaned up after that. Gotcha. And it was, finishing moves here and there.
Yep.
I ended up winning the game 99-23.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
He got playing priority targets, and he had no primaries starting round 2 because of the rapid ingress.
Yeah, worth mentioning. First round was priority targets. No special rules, crucible battle, something like that. Yeah. And you had first or second turn?
Oh, I don't remember. Let's see. I think I went first. Yeah, I went first.
You went first?
Yeah.
And just smashed them. Because obviously priority targets
going
favors
awesome.
Second hugely. Hugely.
Awesome.
There was a few games, mine included, at Jake's as well, that didn't actually get to 5th turn. We managed to pull the win off. But it should have, instead of being like a 60-point win, a 65-point win, that's like a 90, 85-point win. Yeah. If you play the 5th round.
You have to get there, though.
You have to play the 5th round.
Yeah, for sure. So feeling pretty good. That's round 1. Granted, that was probably a pretty bad matchup for him, to be fair.
Right.
We're going 3 big knights. It's like kind of my bread and butter at that point.
I want to correct myself real quick. I was told in this tournament that there is a baby extend, and there is. But the baby extend is only if you have a single unit remaining. It's not like if you do half of it, because extend, for those who don't know already, is hold your home and hold 1 in no man's land.
Yes.
You get 5 points for that. I was told by a player in this tournament that if you hold something in no man's land but don't hold your home objective, you still get a baby extend. That's actually not true. It is if you only have 1 unit remaining in your army, then the secondary mission is instead achieved at the end of your turn if it controls an objective.
Which would make sense because if you can't
score it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Otherwise, so just to clarify.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. Cool.
Round 2.
Yeah. What do you got?
Pretty hard matchup. I went against Custodes.
Which Custodes was that? Liam's, who I actually did also face in the tournament.
Yes,
I got smashed. I got my shit pushed in.
That's good.
So you played him second round?
Played him second round.
And I played him third, and he beat the fuck out of me.
Really, really a hard-fought match. I don't think I had a unit left on the board.
Sure.
by the end of it all. Militarium tanked his shield captain, and the shield captain tanked Militarium for 3 turns. Right in the center.
Right. Because both don't ignore modifiers, but they're just tanky.
Trajan and Militarium never met.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was
they were
kind of
hanging on the
probably
side.
for the best.
He missed a charge in Trajan. I remember that. He brought it in the backfield and then forgot about the unit and then didn't charge with it. And it was already kind of past the combat stage, so I didn't allow it. We are playing competitive.
I think it's a good point to make. I think Thomas Artio, he did a small thing at the very beginning of the tournament when we're kind of doing all player meeting and setting expectations and stuff like that. He said, just so everybody's aware, this is a competitive tournament. And I think that's it doesn't need to be said usually because you kind of get it. You paid $100. This is like a fairly pricey tournament to attend at a convention center with all the top dogs in the city. Shouldn't need to be said, but I think it's good to set the expectation that, look, if you forget something, if you go a whole phase without shooting,
it's up to the discretion of your opponent.
It's for sure. And listen, I guarantee everybody in every game gave some kind of take back. It's just that's 40K.
I got one. I think I missed a mortal wound thing with typhus,
happens
and then
all the time.
Matt Spector gave it back to me, but nothing at the same time too. Nothing happened. Like nothing happened prior.
For sure.
To it.
If it doesn't affect anything, then I think most takebacks are perfectly fine. There was one in one of my games where it was like a movement take back that was very, very good for him, that was very, very bad for me. And I was like, I don't want to be a dick and just be that guy that says no. I said 50-50 it. 4 up, you get it. 1, 2, 3, you don't. That's my
I like that.
That's my middle ground.
Yeah,
that's my middle ground. But it's worth noting. Yeah. So if he missed his charge and saw how every other combat went, and you say, sorry, man, we're in a different phase entirely, and you've so much information at this point.
Yeah, it's going to drastically affect the game.
It's perfectly within reason saying no.
Yeah, exactly.
So fair enough.
So in this one, I took cleanse and deploy. Now the reason I took cleanse is because we were playing ritual.
That's right. This was the ritual.
Right.
Yep.
So with ritual,
you can kind of scrambler fields as well.
Yeah, scrambler fields. Yeah,
that's right.
But with ritual, I could make a bunch of objectives.
Yep.
And string out my fodder.
Yep.
To cleanse with 1 unit and score 4 points. So that's what I was always setting up. I would deploy out of the rhino, and then my rhino would run away and then cleanse. Or not cleanse, ritual. And then sit there and cleanse.
Make a new objective. Yeah,
right?
Right.
My floated bloat drone came in on turn 2 on the far end of the battlefield.
Right.
And ritualed, cleansed there, and stuck there. So I just needed one to cleanse and another one.
Right. And your Nurglings are in there doing the same thing.
Nurglings died turn 1
good.
To a charge from Custodes.
Fair enough.
But again, I kind of wanted
him.
I wanted him to do that though.
Of course you did. Yeah,
actually, no, they didn't. Again, it's my fault. I totally forgot. They were hiding behind some runes, and they were saving everyone's ass because they're all infantry, so it gives -1 to hit and
That's
melee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're saving everybody.
That's fair. Custodes hitting on 2s everywhere, all of a sudden hitting on 3s does change the math a little bit.
I did take -1 save against them. I've learned that with their karates going sustained, depending on what they do. I think in this case, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
It would have been better for me to take the -1 weapon skill, only because of the way I played the game.
Interesting.
Putting Martarian right in the center, he would have taken lethal hits on his karate, not the sustained. So I should have thought about, okay, if Martarian actually went to the center, then he's never going to sustain it. Then the extra -1 with the Nurglings, so it'd be -2 essential to hit. He's hitting on 4s. Would have been better.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, with Nurglings there as well. Would that stack like that though?
Yeah, because I give the contagion gives -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill.
Got it.
And then you give -1 to hit after.
-1 to hit.
Yeah. So you give the -2 in the center.
Gotcha.
So in hindsight, yes, that was it. I think generally though, you do just take -1 to save and put them right to their
always
invul.
good.
Let's put them to their invul.
Yep.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Custodes better
against Custodes. Yes.
Right.
Because Custodes in cover sucks. It always sucks. But against you. You take the
and then my Predator autocannons were kind of situated for that, right? So I would come out, look at a unit.
Right, you were saying this is your anti-elite infantry tech right there. Boom.
So my Predator auto would actually have -3. Okay, you get the benefit of cover. Okay, you're still in your invul, right? So that's why I took the extra -1.
Right, yep.
For this whole tournament, I generally took -1, even against Chaos Knights.
Cool.
I took -1 as well.
That makes sense. Yeah, 100%.
We'll push them back. And if I'm in combat with them, you're saving on 6s.
Oh boy, do I know it.
Oh,
yep.
it's awful.
Boy, do I know it.
Awful.
Playing against, I did a fair amount of practice of my knights into Drakari, and that's their fun new thing is AP3 in combat. Super fun.
Oh, wonderful.
Super fun.
Wonderful news.
So I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. So you did win that game. What was the final score?
That one was a difference of 13 points, 83-70.
Reasonably close.
Yeah.
Do you think you were in danger of losing that game at any point, or?
No, only because I was holding primary better.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Near the end, he was starting to dominate the board state, but I think it was too late.
Gotcha. Right.
And I honestly, I made a mistake in turn 3 when I didn't ritual with my Rhino, because I would have had that other objective just to kind of be there,
sit on there forever,
and just to go after.
Right.
I took an extra turn for that, but other than that, I think I played that pretty well.
Good. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. If you overload your side with objectives in the ritual, the Custodes only has so many units, right? Like I think any given Custodes list has 8 units, maybe tops, 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, and he was all infantry, no vehicles.
Yep. Which I think is pretty normal for Custodes now, post data slate for sure.
Yeah. They're a hard matchup.
Oh, they're super tough.
But the problem with them against Death Guard is Death Guard want to be in melee as well.
Of course you do.
Custodes are just so much better at it.
They're way better. They fight first all over the place.
Ugh.
They
2 damage everywhere.
Man, you got to watch out. And like again, I won't get into it too much, but I played the same Custodes player, and right after you. So you played him round 2. I played him round 3.
Right.
He smashed me. He smashed me because, to his credit, he baited me into shooting a group of wardens with Trajan on a point. He popped all the -1 damage. He popped the feel no pains.
Yep.
And in my brain, again, this is the fog of war type situation. I was like, if I can kill 3 or 4, maybe even just 2 or 3 of these wardens, I can get a tempting target on this target. I killed nothing. I killed
wonderful news.
Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Which I mean, of course I do.
It must feel good to be a Custodes player and just have like nothing die.
Your whole army to shoot at something and nothing happens.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great. That's
I want that feeling again.
All right. Into
So,
round 3.
Aiden, I hope you're listening. I did crush every Custodes player I played against.
Smashed them. All one of them.
Hey, I'm doing it for their Papa Nergs. Okay? So, shout out. You're not the only one killing Custodes.
Papa Nuggies?
Yeah. Next match. Gets our boy, David.
Ooh, into
Love this opponent.
Dave's Grey Knights, yep.
You know what? I know Dave. I know you're fucking listening. I love playing him. He's wildly smart at the game. I feel like I learn something every time I play him.
Yep.
He does hold his opponents to a higher standard.
Interesting.
You know, we had a chess clock. We had.
He clocked you. He does. He does always have a chess clock.
Yes,
he didn't clock me.
I don't know. I think you should. I think it's a fair thing to do, especially in a competitive tournament. I think holding your opponent to a standard is good.
Yeah.
That way you both can go in there with expectations of the gameplay and how you're going to play.
I agree.
So if there's a takesies backsies, there's a takesies backsies.
Right.
And I think me and him both did that once or twice, or like had to re-roll something to figure out what we were doing.
Yep.
But I had a good time, and I think I made a mistake. I did take cleanse in this matchup. I found his particular list hard to go fixed against, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm just so set on fixed that I chose deploy and cleanse.
And this, do you remember what mission this one was? This was Purge the Foe.
Purge the Foe. So there's three objectives in the center.
Yep.
But it's still kind of hard to cleanse the way it was all set up and how he could screen me.
Yeah. You think you got screened by Grey Knights?
I think I got screened from the rapid ingress, yes.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I do think he tried to bait me with an Overwatch, which probably wasn't in his favor with my Death Shrouds coming in, because he put his Purifiers in on my 5-man Plague Marines.
Right.
That would take an objective, which got it off, and then got him one because he got 3 inches with it. He deploys within 3 inches and then shoots him off.
Yep. Right.
But when he did that, I rapid ingress on his turn with Death Shrouds hiding behind.
Okay. Right.
And then I moved them, and he Overwatched. He got 2, which was annoying.
Yeah.
But I still moved within 9.1 inches because I have played played against a lot of Grey Knights.
Right. You know about Mr. Demos?
He never used that stratagem once against me.
Really? Interesting.
No.
Wow.
I think we kind of both situated our game like, I'm going to do this and do this. And another reason why I like playing him, because we do play to intent. I am doing this for this reason, because I know what you're doing, and that's the way.
Nobody's getting tricked. Nobody's got gotchas. You're playing a straight up game.
Yeah, a straight up game. Yeah. So it was kind of back and forth. He got a little lucky on the Dread Knights. I think you probably know that feeling.
Yeah, I had that happen.
And the one that survived on one, which was annoying. Yeah. I eventually got it, but it didn't matter. I think in hindsight, I should probably pick Bring It Down.
Because he gave up how much Bring It Down?
Well, in Cleanse, I only got fucking...
I think he... What's a Dread
Cleanse, I only got 4 points on Cleanse.
Dread Knight is 12 wounds? No, so it's 3 each, right? No, is it 4?
I would have gotten 15 points, I think.
Something like that, right?
Which is more than 4.
He was running 4 Dread Knights, 3 normal, and 1 Grandmaster.
Which is more than 4.
It is definitely more than 4 points. Yes,
so
for sure.
I'm sure
you killed more than 1 Dread Knight.
Probably should have done that. In hindsight, it's 2020, and I tried my best to exchange and get the purge the foe, like get the primary up the best I could when we could.
But he only has 8 units, like literally, and purge the foe's better for him than you. Yeah,
it's very hard to do it. There's been times I was close, I couldn't quite do it.
Yeah.
And he has that one unit that comes back, so it actually helps you purge your foe.
That's right.
Other than that, it was a well-fought match. I think he definitely outplayed me. He kind of put his Dread Knights into one side of the board to shoot me out, and then he put them to the other side of the board and made the battle over there.
Right.
So I might, again, looking back, I probably should have moved my Plague Marines and Death Shrouds up to fight where the battle was.
Right. Okay.
Not Death Shrouds, they're already there. The Plague Marines to come support.
Gotcha. Right.
And that was on the top side.
Okay.
But hey, I didn't.
You have to analyze. So just this was your one loss, I would assume.
This was my one loss.
This was one loss against Dave. No shame in losing to Dave. I lost to Dave in Game 5. I think I mentioned it briefly before. I was hugely favored. My Big Knights list into his Grey Knights. We had ran, me and him, the exact same lists the week before going into the tournament, and I wiped the floor with him. Like he probably overextended a little bit. I think he knew that, and he even said after our game,
he said he made a few mistakes.
He said he made a few mistakes, but in the tournament this weekend, he said if I didn't have that experience into your list, I probably would not have won this in the tournament.
Right.
So there was a couple.
And then
points.
I would have gotten second.
That's true.
So you should have just won.
I'm so sorry. I did try to win. I assure you. Like I mentioned, there was that point. This was with Dave where my game with Dave was where I re-rolled that 3 shots with Canis.
Yeah.
And I will never do that again.
No,
but yeah,
three's a number.
But Dave is one of those players. He's very, very good at what he plays. He knows the matchups well. He knows where he needs to apply pressure. He knows where he can let the pedal off and move away. And Grey Knights are that army, right? You stop applying pressure here, you're all of a sudden over
he's
here.
A very reactive player.
Grey Knights are a reactive
it's awesome
faction, so he plays it very well. And if you make a mistake, you're punished. If you leave an opening, you're punished. If you don't screen out your, turn 2, he got, I think it was capturing an outpost and overwhelming force. Ooh. I wasn't quite screening out my home objective. All of a sudden, there's 11 units. You
got to watch out for that one.
Right?
I think he made a mistake too. He put his Terminators up in the center, leaving a little bit of a line of sight for me to shoot them. They are the ones that can
get picked up.
Yeah, uppy downy when they get shot.
That's right.
So I forced it on turn 2 on him.
Sigil of Exigence, I believe it's called.
Sure. The uppy downy enhancement.
Yeah, the uppy downy enhancement. Yeah.
So I forced him to move it and use it right away, and I shot at it with the autocannon. So I made sure I had 2 lines of sight with my autocannons to shoot at it. So he went uppy downy and went closer towards my deployment zone.
Right.
To then charge into the Predator tanks, because knowing that those are the Predator tanks, those things are the things that's going to kill the
For
Terminators.
sure, yeah.
So he went and charged at them, but another mistake that was kind of weird, and this is our back and forth, and that's why I'm saying we play to a higher standard with him.
Right.
I could move my Militarium in that terrain to a point, because the 100 mil base against like the top shelf, and he's still against it, and he'd still be within 1 inch of the Terminators. So I could actually essentially get a 4-inch charge on because he did that.
Right. Through the terrain.
So my Militarium could start chopping down Terminators.
Understood.
Right.
Gotcha.
That was something that he didn't account for, because he'd have to fly up, fly around, and fly down.
Yeah, you think you're safe on the one side. You're
right.
not.
But unfortunately, with the 100 mil base and the new rules with engagement against runes is 2 inches.
Well, and a lot of models can't do that. But if you're narrow enough at the base to kind of sneak your little butt in there on some terrain, Like I run into the issue all the time with even just like forget big knights, even just armatures.
Yeah,
they're kind of wide at the base. They got the legs on the side.
Yeah,
they got the arms off the
and
side.
their head kind of comes down.
Their head kind of comes down a little bit. So on some terrain, you would think you could fit yourself in there, but you just can't quite get there.
Right.
It's same thing with some of his Nemesis Dread Knights. Right, they're kind of boxy, wide. They kind of take up the base. You think maybe you can turn them a certain way to fit in there.
Yeah,
but Mortarian's just he's got some.
Yeah, I think the one that he has, that custom one, could probably do it because it's kind of like
that was the one that he managed
and
to
he
stick
can
in there.
Well, he learned it from mine, so I'm sorry. So
he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber. That was your match, and then he's like, "I'm ready."
Oh yeah, and we learned how to do that. I'm like, in theory, I could actually do this. He's like, fuck. And then we brought out a flashlight, and Tom comes around. I was like, why do you guys have a flashlight? Like, well, we have something to do here.
We need to
and
see
he's
it.
like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's 100 mil base, and you guys, technically, he's actually within an inch, not even within 2.
Right.
And we're like, well then. I'm like, well, then I'm charging.
Then play on.
Yeah, play on. But funny enough, I whiffed. Didn't kill one.
Oh.
I actually only got one wound on my 5 attacks.
Sucks. You get that angle. You find the angle. You find the little.
Well, that was the mistake, but it didn't matter.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't able to be capitalized. The Plague Marines did chew them up though, so it was fine.
What was final score on that one?
The final score was 89 Dave, 62 me. Again, my secondary choices were poor.
A bit of a punish, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't scoring that many primaries. He had the control of that center. I couldn't find a way to get in.
Interesting.
I might have been able to maneuver some things. I kind of park a lot myself sometimes.
Sure.
I am not sure though.
This terrain layout lended itself to being parking lotted, I will say.
Yeah, you could easily do that by mistake.
Yeah.
Next round, I went against.
So this was day 2.
By far my favorite opponent Sorry, Dave. You're my second favorite.
Oh.
But I went against Gordon. He's awesome. Awesome
Gordon,
opponent to play.
who won
best overall.
Sport.
Best overall.
Best. Oh yeah.
Dave won
best sport. That's
Dave won
right.
best sport.
And Gordon won best overall. That's correct. Yeah. Right.
He's playing Tyranids.
Yeah.
His painting is sick.
He was in the running for best paint for sure.
Oh my god!
Like 3 Norns, 2 Norns,
2 Norns,
2 Norns,
2 Norns. 2 other like kind of carapace looking. I don't know what they're
they
called.
all have carapace, I think. but big bugs.
Yeah. Another 2 big bugs. He essentially had a screamer killer. So he had 5 big bugs.
Oh, was he the 3 screamer killer list?
He had 1 screamer killer.
He had 1. Okay, there was some wild man running like 3 screamer killers.
I think that's the one Gord lost to.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah, round 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, so it was an interesting matchup. I just chose Bring It Down and deploy Teleport Homers.
And this was on Take and Hold.
Take and Hold. Very basic. So I put my fodder up. The interesting thing with Norns is that at the beginning of the match, they choose 2 objectives in the no man's land.
Yep.
And every time a Norn's on it, they actually consider it with OC 15.
OC 15 and a 4 up, feel no pain? 5 up maybe?
5 up.
Yeah, maybe a 5 up. But tough as nails.
Yeah.
Bunch of wounds.
I only killed 1 Norn. I think he had 1 Norn left. But I killed everything else.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So spoiler alert, you probably won this game.
I did win this game.
Yeah.
I was able to, round 1, my shooting, everything whiffed. I think I got 2 damage on a Norn, and that was about it.
Okay. Sure.
Everything whiffed.
Sure.
I thought he was a little aggressive with this other big bug that he has. I could just pop the -1 damage on my Death Shrouds. And
I'm trying to remember what those were. Was it
they have
Maliceptors?
They have the D6+3 blast gun.
Oh, is that just that's not a winged hive tyrant, is it?
We can probably find the list.
Well, it's all good.
Yeah.
Other big bugs, but you whiffed on first turn
shooting. So I was pretty nervous at that point.
You manage to get where? Did you go first?
Did I go? Yeah, I did.
You did go first, so you
first.
Got some board control, obviously.
Yeah, so he kind of hit a little bit. I moved up as fast as I could. I'm not really that fast, so I couldn't really get on any other points.
Right.
My cultist got onto 1, and I stuck it.
Yep.
Actually, no, I didn't stick it that round, but I got on there.
Did he choose? And this may seem obvious, but I've seen some people play it weird. So he has 2 Norns. He picked 2 different objectives for both the Norns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen some people play it where they like focus an objective, and it's like, this is the objective you will never fucking get.
Really?
It's maybe not the best play, but I have seen it before.
Yeah, because I think you just want to keep the Norns on it, and they have those last guns, and they have. They obviously do destroy in melee.
Right.
So, anyways, the Norns were all on the right hand side of the match. So,
Sure.
If you're looking at objectives, so. A little bit of strategy. So you have your non-negotiable, which is your deployment zone. Right. And then you have one that you want your stronghold to be. So the one that you want to fortify the most.
Yep.
Usually the middle one is your kill zone.
Right. Yep. For sure.
And then you'll have the one that's your sabotage.
your opponent's safe objective, right?
Yeah, they're stronghold.
Right.
Yeah, they're non-negotiables. They're deployment zone.
Yep.
So the other ones are sabotage, the one you want to fuck with when you can.
Yeah,
right?
harassment. Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, I never really did for him, only because he had the 2 Norns, so I just ignored it and kept everything.
Sense.
Why do you come to my kill zone
You
ignored
it?
Ignored it.
Ignored it. Yep.
Come towards me and my stronghold and my kill zone. Right.
Course,
and I'm gonna go there. So my whole plan was just get my Plague Marines in the center and just out OC them.
Understood.
Right. Even if you're at 15 and 4, if 10 Plague Marines are on there, that's 20.
That's right. Yeah, just
so you lost
them,
it.
take it from them, lose some primary, and then you got to deal with those Plague Marines.
And they fight first too, so if you charge, I can actually get some damage on. So if I already got some chip damage on with the last cannons, so I was able to kill a lot of the big guys right away in the center.
Right.
And
which takes away a lot of his kill power, obviously, right?
Yeah. I think I just got to focus on the big guys. And then again, I mean, those fucking Zenith robes. Oh my God. They have a weapon profile of anti-infantry flamers, or not flamers, but anti-infantry blast weapons or last cannons. What the fuck is that?
They're good, man. They're good.
Awesome.
They're not super tough, but 4-up invulns on them though. T7 or 8 or something like that. But yeah, that 4-up invuln. Yeah, you gotta put some fire in them to take them down.
So my whole strategy rounds 1 and 2 was to make
Predators, mind you. Sorry to interrupt you. Predators good into them. Flat 3 damage.
Yes, they were really good. Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah,
they were key. Some of my best, what my strategy was to just screen out my deployment zone completely.
Sure.
Right, because those Byrevores are going to shoot in. So just screen out the entire.
So he gets no
deployment
secondary.
zone, and because he chose fixed of deploy teleport homers and behind enemy lines.
Every time for Tyranids, yeah, of course.
Yeah, which is a great strategy. I think it's really great. He put it in. He got one guy in. He was able to sneak that little fucking tiny guy around one, and
it's a very small base. I think it might be a 25 mil.
I was like, "Fuck, he did get it." Okay, cool. I could, if I would have moved up that centimeter, he wouldn't have been able to.
Right.
Okay, so he got it.
Yeah,
that's fine. So now I moved my Plague Marines. He exploded it because he knew it was gonna die, and then I got my Plague Marines to go face the center to try to out-OC him there, and then all my Plague Burst crawlers shot the Byrevore.
Right.
Got it.
Oh man.
Killed
if
it.
they reveal their Pyovore,
It's indirect.
You
not to reveal it.
Oh, right.
Right. Or the Militarium, I don't ignore. I ignore modifiers.
Right. You don't even care.
Yeah. And he ended up missing the saves. It's only 6 wounds, so some got through and it died. Popped. So then, now he's not deploying teleport homers or anything. So he has to get in.
Killing a Tyranid's Pyovore in turn 2, 1, whatever, that's 80% of their secondary game right there. That's you got most of the game won right there. So
turn 2 and 3, I don't think he scored any. Turn 2 and 3, he scored no secondaries.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
He ended up getting some guys in and scoring them at the end, the back end, but at that point it was too late. I already had my Nurglings in his deployment zone deploying teleport homers.
Right.
I Typhus running around throwing mortal wound bombs, which this is when the dice giveth.
Yeah, sure.
I rolled a 6 twice and a 6 after. So he did 12 mortal wounds.
Oh, it's 6 plus D6.
No, it's D3 plus 3.
Oh, but two different rounds.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And it was like, I need to kill this thing. I'm just going to mortal wound bomb. Oh my God, it's a 6. Oh my God, it's another 6. Okay, that thing's dead. And it happened twice.
Disgusting.
So I got a little lucky that way.
I mean, of course.
Obviously, it was still going to die in the combat it was in.
But it just makes life easy. Just makes life easy.
Yeah. So I was able to take that one 91-77. Round 5.
Round 5. You are
against my worst matchup ever.
Okay.
I struggle against this one a lot. I have probably 1 and 4 against it. Lost a little while. It's Tau.
Ooh, interesting.
Now the reason it's so difficult for me is because the shooting is so powerful and they can maneuver around the board so easily.
Right.
Which is my weakness. I can't move around the board.
Right.
I can't attack, and I can't get into where I need to be, and it can be screened out really easily with the amount. In this list in particular, he ran 3 devil fishes with breachers,
right?
So it could really stop my rapid ingress. And Vespids are interesting too because they come in on deep strike, and then at the end of the movement phase, they lift up again.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So they can stop, they come back in on a movement phase. So they can stop a rapid ingress.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're like the anti-rapid
ingress. He had 1
ingress.
unit of those?
1, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So there's a hell of a match. I ended up taking it, but it was only... I got some luck. Militarium survived some melt the shots.
Right.
And was able to stick onto a point. I just charged Militarium in. You know what?
So I remember us sitting down at lunch on Sunday and going over like strategy, what we're going to do in our next matchups, and right when they got posted. And I remember saying, we were sitting down with Dave, we were sitting down with Tony and Aiden and those guys, and you said, you walked over and you said to Dave, how do I beat Tau?
Yeah.
Right? Remember that?
Yep.
And I you weren't asking me, but of course I got to give my opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
That's just kind of
number
I am.
one.
I was like, you should rush them. Obviously, Death Guard is not necessarily a rush army. I'm not saying, but to the best of your ability, rush them, because in my mind, obviously they outshoot you, right? You're going to get shot to hell if they can get to those turns where they're getting their sustained wounds or sustained hits.
Sustained 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is activated on turn 3, I think.
Yeah.
And at turn 2, if
Turn
they have
2
the
on
enhancement.
crisis suits.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my brain says, don't let them get there. Right? Get in there fast. Dave said the opposite. He said hide. Right? I think that was his
But be more
suggestion.
aggressive with Morty is what he said.
Is that what he said? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So
Yeah.
he kind of took like the middle ground there. So hide everything, throw Morty at him.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is what you did.
Yeah, I put Morty because Matt was expecting it to be right in the center, right behind
Right.
the building, like almost every matchup I always do.
Right.
He's kind of in the center, death balled around a bunch of vehicles.
Gotcha.
I started setting up my vehicles. I didn't set up Morty. He's like, "Oh, Morty's gonna go there." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see." And then he kept on moving some stuff around, and I put him right in the far end of the deployment zone.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" And then he's like, "Where do I?" All right, I guess I'm gonna put my crisis suits right down here. So he put his crisis suits on the exact opposite side of the board for Morty.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I was like, okay, well this is okay. I just need to make sure I hit this Tetras. Tetras give full rerolls of wound if they're the guided unit.
Yep.
So I need to make sure I kill those.
Yeah, 100%. Very smart.
So I started mortaring some.
It's like a small support unit that a lot of people wouldn't target, but man, is it crucial to take them out.
Crucial.
Sorry to interrupt you. But
especially if they get sustained on 2s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
right.
the worst.
Yeah.
I went for that strategy the round 1, and then round 2 I didn't go for that strategy. I forgot about the Tetras. So it was able to do some damage to my Destras, but they luckily survived.
Well, but turn 2 you're going to have more available targets. So it's like
but Tetras could still do the crisis suits.
Right. But I mean he's gonna have crisis suits available to attack. He's gonna have other units that it's not just the Tetras anymore. Right. You all of a sudden have 3 or 4 Devilfish available, a Breacher team available. So like it's harder to be like I must target the Tetras when there's that juicy Breacher squad that's sitting on the objective. Right.
Sure. Actually, he had them well because he actually kept the Devilfishes towards, I guess, his sabotage. He kind of went, or my sabotage. He kind of went towards that.
Gotcha.
It left him in a block. He made a mistake though. He left a big bubble in the back end for my Death Shroud to come in.
Love a good big bubble in the back end.
Death Shroud and a Typhus went in. So 8 models went right in the backfield.
Right.
Which my Lord of Virulence had line of sight on. So I could deep strike right there. So I didn't rapid ingress.
Just deep strike.
I just deep stroke them.
Yep.
Right, deep stroke them.
Deep stroke them.
Yeah, right behind his crisis suits. Had probably 2 or 3 2 Death Shrouds and a Lord with line of sight onto the crisis suits.
Right.
And Typhus. And what ended up happening was with the Lord there, I was like, do you know what? Everything's going to go in these crisis suits. I'm just going to eliminate as many as I possibly can. And that's 100%. When I forgot about the Tetras. I was able to kill 3, I think.
Yeah, they're tough, hey?
Yeah, well, I mean, with flamers, they're not going to do much.
4 wounds each. T6, something like that. Is it 6 wounds?
Shield drones?
Right, with drones, of course, right. Yeah, they're tough.
They're
super tough.
And I focused all the fire there. I started doing the mortars to them. I got the +1 to hit on it, ignoring cover. And I just kind of took advantage of that. And I had to force him to start making decisions because on turn 2, he ended up... Did he go first?
Also, what was the primary? The last round
He didn't go first. I went first.
Last round primary was Vital Ground.
Yeah, so no center objective.
So no center objective.
So we were on the outsides.
Yep. That makes sense.
I didn't care about the center. I did deploy my Nurglings just to deploy teleport homers.
Teleport homers, right.
But having that deep strike on turn 2, I just did Typhus Mortal Wound Bomb, deploy for 4.
Yeah, right.
And then I had my Death Shrouds, shoot some stuff. Ended up shooting enough crisis suits that my charge was like 11 inches now at this point.
Right, sure.
Or 10 or 11, or I can't remember what it was. But I still had a 9-inch on the Devilfish.
Okay, love it. Yep.
So I could still do something with them.
Did you make the charge?
I did make the charge.
Attaboy.
I actually rolled a 10.
Attaboy.
I rolled a 10. So I was like, oh, he's like, did you actually charge the crisis suits? I'm like, I didn't. No, I charged the Devilfish.
No, I wish I did.
Yeah. I'm a Militarium, and he also had his Riptide on the side, on the far other side, facing Militarium, and
of course.
my 10 Plague Marines. In this case, I did put the 10 Plague Marines in the Rhino first.
Okay.
Because depending if I went first or second, I wanted the ability to launch.
Sure. Right.
Right. And I wanted to launch the 10-man as opposed to the 5.
And which contagion did you take against him?
I took -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill.
Right.
I want to be in there. I want to make his shots
That makes
shittier.
sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because they have crap armor anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I don't care about that. Like,
Right.
I'd love, like, yeah, sure, a dead one, but I took in this case just because of the amount of shots they have.
That makes sense. Yep.
Right. But
100%. Yep.
again, I want to play turns 1, 2, and maybe him have some things on 3 because the sustaining thing, it's going to eliminate that -1 weapon
That's
skill.
right. That makes sense.
Sustained.
That makes sense. Yep.
So I want to make sure I'm in his face and he's not killing anything.
Yep.
And he has too many targets.
That's
I think
right.
the only way to beat Tau as a Death Guard player is having multiple targets
Right.
and allowing the opponents to choose the wrong ones. Now Matt's too good. He chose the right ones for the most part.
Right. But there's just too many.
Too
It's
many.
a threat overload, right? Like, yeah, great. Your stuff is good at shooting. You're gonna wipe a squad here or there.
Yeah.
Cool. I've got 4 more coming.
So
at you.
I just kind of spread open. I showed up. I showed
You spread right open.
Spread right open. I showed all my assets. I showed them all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, except for
All
I
the
kept
assets.
the 5 Plague Marines on my home objective.
Not my
to try
goodies.
to hold my home objective. Just in case
Of
you ever
course.
got.
Of course.
captured
Just
enemy
vital ground. It's
outposts.
2 points every round.
Yep.
Great. No problem.
And I was able to get Militarium all the way in, taking his home objective pretty early and holding to it.
You took his home objective.
really early.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
Man,
And because I stuck it, there's an interesting point in the game.
Right. You mentioned
He
this,
moved his crisis suits over to shoot Militarium, and
Mortarion, who is on his home objective.
Yeah.
It's now stickied.
yeah,
He moves them over.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he moves him over, and then the melted shots needed to kill Militarium.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he had 12 shots in, and none of them wounded.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's pretty bad.
That feels bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's a feel bad moment. And
Yeah,
then the cyclics aren't going to do anything, so
Right,
they didn't do
right.
anything to him.
Right.
He was able to survive, and then he was going to go 2 CP move on and steal the objective from me.
Of course.
But then he overloaded and killed one. So then his OC would have been 6, and my OC for Militarium is 6, and I already had that objective sticky. So because you never controlled it for a
Doesn't get
phase,
it.
he doesn't keep it.
Doesn't get it.
He doesn't get the
Right.
phase.
He technically contests it, but going into your turn, you stuck it on a previous turn.
Yeah.
So you do get credit for it.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. So that was the thing that kind of won me the game there at that point.
That's rough.
We went back and forth.
But if you're overcharging them, you have to assume you're losing 1. So maybe you shouldn't have overcharged at all. Just get what damage you could and then move over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guarantee the take.
Yeah. And just do the chip damage and just
Get
take-
whatever damage you can.
Yeah.
Don't overload.
Yeah.
Get everybody on the point.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Hindsight's 2020.
100% hindsight is 2020. In the fog of war, you're trying to do damage. He would want to kill Mortarion. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to kill Mortarion, not get him by 1 OC or something weird like that.
Right, but I guess you could have said, you could have hoped the Melters would have done it and then not overcharge the cyclics.
Listen, it's one of those instances which comes up a lot. You're like, here's my high roll. I want to do this thing, but I have to have this backup in case it goes
And to make
bad.
sure it goes through.
If I want to guarantee I take this point from you, I don't overcharge and I just move on to it.
Yeah.
But hey, again, fog of war. This was the last game of the day. The last game of the whole tournament.
Yep.
We're tired. Our feet hurt. Our backs hurt.
So bad.
Sometimes you make a mistake, and I think maybe that was a mistake. I don't know the situation exactly, but I think maybe a mistake. Maybe a mistake.
Yeah. You know, that's pretty. You know what? At first, I didn't think that was a mistake,
Right.
and yeah, I guess it was. There was some point too in the game with Typhus stopped deploying, and I just started doing it with my Death Shrouds because I had 1 Death Shroud and a Lord left, and if I moved them, his stupid ass Christ suits would Overwatch.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not gonna move. I'm just gonna deploy.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine. I'm not gonna move, and I'm just gonna get my Typhus up and start charging the Riptides and everything else on the other objective.
Right.
He ended up killing the Typhus for his assassinate points. Anyways,
Yeah,
the game ended up.
Yep.
It's a nail biter.
It was a pretty close one.
78 for me, 76 for Matt.
Ooh, Jesus! It sounded like from your story that you were crushing it.
No. I think he was scoring his objectives right. His secondaries he got were good. He was choosing the right targets.
What was the just primary scores?
I was winning on primary.
I was gonna say if you're taking his home field objective, you have to be winning on primary.
So round 3, I got round 2, I got 7. He got 7. Round 3, I denied all of his primary and got 5.
Right.
And then he got 11 for turn 4, and I only got 6.
Okay.
And then I got 11.
So a 6 means you hold his home objective, and he took yours.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He
So
did,
there was some back and forth play in the home.
Oh yeah. And
Gotcha.
then the last round he got 13 for it, and I got 11.
Right.
So did I beat him? No, he beat me on primary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
do you actually the thing that
so
did it?
what was taking your home field?
He had a cold suit commander, and he had stealth suits.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then he eventually put Devilfish out Breachers and stole it from me because I was holding more OC.
Right.
I did take it at one point because I had 2 Plague Marines on there and he had 5 OC.
Right.
Which I only had 4. I moved up my Rhino and I didn't charge it, so I gave an extra 3.
Sit right there. Right.
Right. So then now I have 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was just trying to. We were going out OC on each other.
A 2-point game.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. So really, what ended up happening is because he left that 2-inch bubble.
Yeah.
I got 2 extra deploys.
Oh, of course.
That's it.
Yeah, that's your game right there.
Yeah.
Even 1, whatever.
So it ended the tournament 4-1. Super fun tournament.
Good 4. We said sixth place.
I got 6th,
which is kind of crazy to think about. 4-1. You were the bottom of the 4-1s,
Mm-hmm.
but there was 5 of them, 6 of them, something like that.
5.
Right. That's a tough lineup.
Yeah, there was.
Because like I kind of mentioned at the beginning here, with that small of a pool of players, there's less of a margin for error, right? So
at 416 points, I should have been 4th.
Right, and that's what we were mentioning before.
Yeah.
Is if they're doing their tiebreaker for final results on opponent win percentage, it's kind of out of your hands, right? You're gonna play whoever you're matched into, especially if it's random.
Yep.
Nothing you can do about that.
Yep.
You're gonna score the most points you can every round, obviously. But if that's not the tiebreaker, then it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Which I think I'm on the fence about whether that's good or bad. It's more difficult to game the system. We've discussed this a little bit. Difficult to game the system. You can't hear that so and so got 100 points, so I'm going to get 95 to dodge him. You can't do that kind of stuff, obviously. But kind of feels bad that you got more points than I think most people who are 4-1, and you get 6th.
Yeah,
it is. It's
still just a tournament, and a 4-1 record is a win in my books.
Oh, that's huge. I have yet to go 4-1. It was not this tournament. It was not meant to be.
Next one, man.
Next one.
Then Fool's Errand. You're going in.
Fool's Errand is the next one. Yeah, that's right.
That'll be the next one, unless you go to Vancouver.
And no, I'm not going to Vancouver. That's too far. But I'll probably play Necrons.
Oh, here he comes. Hot take.
I have a hot take alert.
Yeah. Oh, he's going Necrons.
I had a long conversation with you, with Jake, with a couple other guys. It's like I've never been a not that I've played 40k that long, but I mean, I'm always the kind of guy who's like, if that's the hot army, if that's the hot character. For those who ever play Smite, I don't know if you ever played Smite on Xbox and stuff. It's like a MOBA type game.
Oh.
Whoever's the strongest character, I don't play that.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden the character that I play is strong, I don't play that character anymore. It's just this thing in me. I got to be the underdog. I got to be I got to make it hard on myself. Can't make it easy.
Yeah, challenge yourself. The thing is too, like I think sure, Necrons are the big boogeyman, but we know how to beat them. Everyone knows how to beat them.
Yeah, they've kind of. Well, having said that, Aiden did get 3rd.
Yeah.
The other Necrons were not quite as tuneless, I would say. So they
know how to beat them, right? Like their opponents might not have known.
So you're saying I can play Necrons with impunity?
Exactly.
I can just go for it, not feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You give me permission right now?
Oh, of course, 100%. Like I actually wanted to see the Necron matchup because I was kind of tuned against it, right?
Yeah, so was I actually, but I'm just gonna be the boogeyman.
Yeah.
My compromise will be I'll bring some Scorpex. No, I'm like, I'll feel better if I do that.
just one deep strike and 3.
Just one little 3-man unit of deep Scorpex.
Yeah.
Which is kind of smash. The one thing I did want to touch on briefly before we wrap is, so your performance is impressive. We touched on a couple of our guests who did very well. We do want to, I think, quickly touch on the winner, of course. Mr. Number 1, Mr. Undefeated, Mr. Adam Green, who is a current member of Team Canada, which I actually didn't know that until the end of that tournament when he was like, he finished the tournament. He's like, I'm going to go play TTS with Team Canada right now. And I was like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah, he had to get in a match with the same list and then test against somebody else or something.
Right. Yeah. And he brought Astra Militarium, the Imperial Guard. And do you have the list handy by chance?
I do. I actually have it right on the screen.
See what you got, my friend.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. All right. We got it right there.
Cool. And yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I've played against a fair amount of Guard. My brother's a big fan of Guard. He's been curious how to make them work competitively. Also, I think Guard have been in this strange place where post data slate, when the whole power level of the game came down a little bit, Guard effectively got unchanged. They had the small change to that you can issue orders once you disembark from transports. Doesn't change much. Not a big buff. And their mana cores went up 30 points each, which is a huge. That's a big points difference.
Yeah.
In lists that are taking 3, which spoiler alert, this one did. It done did. That's 90 points, right? That's a lot of points, especially in a guard list.
Crazy amount.
But yeah, we'll go through the list real quick.
So we got Gaunt's Ghosts.
Gaunt's Ghost is
what's the deal with them?
Mostly utility, right? They're kind of they've all got each individual character name. They've each got like a sniper rifle, a minigun, a stealth guy. Like they're
cool.
They're kind of cool little individual characters, but they also get picked up at the end of the opponent's turn and placed somewhere else. So uppy downy shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
Easy, and 100 points is great. Lord Solar is
their CP regen.
CP regen, giving out orders to everybody.
Yeah.
You don't leave. I don't think a competitive list is made without him. It's just not happening.
Yeah, I agree.
We've got some Tempest.
They can move and scoot, right? Can they shoot and scoot?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the guard data sheets. But
see, that's why we need you, Adam.
Something like that. Adam will have on here eventually to kind of explain your list because it's a good one. Tank Commander I know is fantastic because he has the shoot on death. Not only can he give out orders, I think, to other tanks and whatnot, right? He's a commander. So, but he also gets to shoot on full ballistic skill when you kill him.
2 multi-meltas, Grand Strategist. Wow.
Grand Strategist, which gives him an extra order, I think. I can't remember exactly, but
Ursula Creed.
That's
the double order.
That is a very specific strat, I believe. I believe she is a free strat, which might be overlapping fields of fire. Again, not guard players, but I think she's some. And
this is opponent. Hey guys, this is when you comment.
Correct us.
When we're wrong.
Ursula Creed.
Just tell us where would you put Ursula Creed?
We could look her up. I don't want to waste the time on it right now. I believe she gives a free strat, which I think is usually the overlapping fields of fire, which is improved to AP. On like the same targets and some of that degree. So again,
it looks like 1 battle line infantry squad with a mortar and mortar, Vox, melter gun,
just normal stuff. Yeah, got a mortar in there. Great Chimera to run around some of your squads.
He was also saying too, people overvalue this Chimera and just kept targeting it and just letting him get free points because he would bait this thing a million times.
Which it probably has that 10-man squad in it, I would assume.
Mm-hmm. It's really annoying.
They just don't.
Heavy flamers and stuff. It's really annoying to have.
A Chimera is not gonna kill much, but it's just a cheap. It's 70 points. That's fucking cheap as dirt.
Shoot it.
Delivering.
All right, now we go to the big guys.
Then we get into the stuff. So this was a hot point of contention amongst this tournament because I don't think a lot of us had seen Bulgrins in full display. We saw them in full display in this tournament.
This is definitely the hot take. I think these are the best units right now in the game.
Wow. Whoop, whoop. Hot take alert. Whoop, whoop.
Honestly, like for the role that they're playing, I think that they're absolutely unreal. If you're gonna, the way this 10th is played, rushing down center, scoring points, holding down objectives, this is the best unit for their points. Now they are toughness 6. They have a 4 pinball with the brute shields.
Yep.
They have -1 damage.
-1 damage
on
built,
the data
built
sheet.
in.
And a 6 up feel no pain.
No nothing. 6 up feel no pain.
So the difference is this between race. It's 160 points at six models. They don't have any character support to do this.
This is the conversation that we were having midday on the first day of the tournament. I think Aiden, we were going for lunch, and Aiden I think Aiden did play on the first day. I think into Adam.
Yeah.
And Aiden was like, Ben, Bulgrin are better than Wraiths. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? There's no way. Because Wraiths are the Necron crazy shit. They're the hot shit. Bulgrin, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, let me sit you down and walk you through this. So you're exactly right. For 6 of them, for 160 points, and I was just looking up just to compare, Wraiths, who, mind you, will not have a feel no pain at all
unless they have
at this point value, right?
Yeah.
6 Wraiths will cost you 220 points. So 60 points more and no feel no pain. You got to put in a Technomancer who is, I think, 60
and to further
points.
that, they have a worse weapon skill and can't get better.
They don't do shit for damage.
Yeah.
They have some lucky dev wounds here and there with their pistols if you kit them out with the trans-dimensional beamers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Bulgrin kind of smash?
Well, they have strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage weapons.
Amazing.
Great. The difference is they can hit on 2s with an order.
Hit on 2s with an order. They can move faster with move. They kind of wild, and -1 damage built in is kind of crazy.
It's nuts.
They're 3 wound models. 3 wound models.
And half's like an entire Custodies.
Right. They're just tanking Custodies all day.
Yeah.
Right. For
Except
100,
for Trajan.
100. Well, of course, Trajan, whatever. But for 160 points,
it's nuts.
I'm shocked you don't see 3 squads of them in this list.
No kidding.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
not to besmirch Adam's list building. He's an incredible player, but if I'm a guard player, I don't know how I don't take 3 of them. 3 squads of 6.
I mean, I would like that play style because I like my models staying in the field. So
as a stinky tough boy.
Yeah, I enjoy this. And then he had 2 years of Casterkins. These guys are pretty nuts too. They kind of have pretty much everything that you want in a unit. Melta guns, plasma guns, and they do what they need. The Melta mine is pretty cool. They can do it at any phase.
Melta mines are super cool. At the end of any phase, you get to pop off some mortal wounds without getting into the nitty gritty of it too much. But the cool thing about Casterkin 2 is that they can order themselves effectively, right? They count as ordering themselves.
Yeah.
So they don't need to be part of your order structure. They can just go out. They might even have scout built in if I don't remember correctly, but
I'm not sure.
They're just fast. They get out there quickly, and they don't need to be part of the structure. They can give themselves orders for move, for shoot, for whatever. Right.
I remember in Dawn of War they were like, you can only have 1 unit of Casterkins.
Oh, is that true?
That's like one of those elite ones that you can only buy like 1 unit of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And Casterkin are elite Cadian troops. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And rest in peace, Cadia, of course.
Yeah.
Rip. Cadia still stands and all that good shit.
It doesn't. It's dead. And then now this is it.
I love it. This is where I love it.
Is the combo.
Yeah.
Manticores. 3 of them. All indirect firing. What's their damage on their weapons?
I'll look it up right now. I believe it's flat 3.
I think so too.
I'll look it up right now. Strength 10, AP 2, flat 3 is going to be my guess.
How many shots though? D6?
D6 plus 1 blast, I want to say. I'll look it up real quick here. It's so good.
It's worse than Plague Burst. Right?
It's worse than Plague Burst. Storm Eagle rockets are, first of all, 120 inch range. So the table next to you. D6 plus 1 blast, heavy, indirect. Hitting on 4s, but you're giving them heavy, so they're hitting on 3s. Then you're giving an order to take aim, so they're hitting on 2s.
Oh my god!
Right. Strength 10, AP 2.
So did you say ignore covers? I just want to make
not ignore cover.
Okay.
Not ignore cover, but if you give them a Scout Sentinel, all of a sudden they have no indirect negatives.
Right.
So you're ignoring the cover, that indirect fire cover, or indirect fire cover bonus. They're wild. And at 180 points, I think they're at now.
180. Yeah.
He just took 3 of them, which I think for sure you do.
Yeah, and they held your backfields. No one's going behind you.
You cannot. No one's deep striking behind you. They're still a full. They're not. They're T10, 11 wounds each. You're not taking them down with your random deep striking little stuff. Like Inceptors do nothing to these guys.
Could Dave just go in and purify them?
I don't think so. Purifiers are wounding on, I want to say 5s or 6s.
You can go in there with paladins, I guess.
Yeah, sure, maybe, but they're not charging out of there. Not if you place them correctly.
I think you just hold them steady. Can they survive?
Great, cool. You're gonna deep strike your Terminators, your big block of Terminators back there, and then
that one. It's a feel bad for
whichever
sure.
Whichever one you charged, it falls back, and the rest of them blast you. And okay, you're gonna pick up and take them elsewhere for one time. Okay, there's some counterplay, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, and then you keep pushing up with Dread Knights, and you just.
But that's a very specific. You're talking about just Grey Knights, though.
I'm just talking about just David.
Yeah, I'm talking about
because he went against last round, right? Or no, last round.
Second last round. Yeah, I was his last round.
Yeah.
But okay, so Grey Knights maybe on a good day have an answer.
As a Death Guard player, so if I was 4-1, and I am 4-1, but I don't know how. If I would have went against Adam, I don't know how I beat it. I honestly don't know how I get there. I think I have to get lucky. Use my Flamers on the Casterkins. Use my Militarium aura, and then hopefully Militarium's alive still, and have the combat army against the Bulgrins, and then just make sure I get into the deployment zone for those Manticores.
Yeah,
or ignore them completely and just completely take them out of the game.
I think that's exactly right. You pretend the Manticores don't exist.
Yeah.
Just assume you're taking some damage from them every round. Get into combat, because that'll protect some units from from their shooting because they are blast.
Out-OC them on the points.
Out-OC them as best you can. I honestly was not, me running my knights in this was not worried because they are only strength 10. They're winning big knights on 5s. I don't care. They're not getting any blast ever.
Yeah.
Would love to have played Adam, but I was not in the upper echelons of this tournament, shall we say.
Well, it didn't matter. You got paired up David round 4.
That's right. I did get... yeah, that's right.
Round 5.
I played up into round 5. That's right. I played up in round 5, which was wild. But like all the props to him, super, super cool list. You take the good stuff. That's basically the list is what's good in guard right now. You take that stuff. I think a cool list. I think if not, and again, I'm not a guard player, but I like Basilisk as well. I've seen there was another list I think that did really well in a pretty big tournament this past weekend that was very similar, but I think he went 2 Mana Core, 2 Basilisk, perfectly fine. Great.
What are Basilisks at for
Basilisk
points?
Is, I believe, strength 6 or 8.
What are they for points, though? Like 140?
They are cheaper. They're like much cheaper. I think I'll actually look it up real quick. I believe they are 140, 150. Basilisk costs 135. Their weapon, the Earthshaker Cannon, is strength 8, AP 2 damage, but they're the ones that slow you down.
Oh, I see.
So if they hit you, you subtract 2 from your move characteristic. Move, advance, and charge. Oh, so that's the ones it's the ones you whack the Custody squads with. And and like I said, like we mentioned before, Jake, our buddy, did play his Custodies in the top table finals against Adam with these 3 Manticores, and so again, we were all kind of like strategizing going into those. That
I don't think Adam joined us for lunch that day for a reason.
He didn't.
We're like, how do we beat this guy?
I don't know where
we didn't
Adam
invite him.
Lunch, but he wasn't with us.
Hey Adam, we didn't intentionally invite you to lunch.
Yeah, we were strategizing.
We were all gonna go against you at some point.
Well, no, I think at that point it was
only Adam.
It was only Jake.
Sorry,
it was only Jake.
Yeah,
so Jake was because to his credit, he was like, guys, how do I beat this guy? Like, what do I do?
No. He the night before, because knowing that if he goes 4-0, he'll have to go against him round 5.
That's right.
Stayed up to like 2 a.m. strategizing, which is smart.
Very smart.
Learning the rules.
And the ultimate strategy was don't go second.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
I determined I can't go second.
And guess what happened? He went second.
Yeah.
Which notably he had his guards custody guard squad with Korea Draxus, I believe her name is, who gives the squad basically loan up out to 18 inches, but only if you get a command phase. You have to roll a 2-up to get it. Oh, no. And if you don't go first, you don't get it. So guess who's getting wiped turn 1 with 3 Manticores blasting you? Like he had to roll bad saves for sure because he's getting, unless he's getting Scout Sentineled, I don't know. But anyway,
still saving on 3s.
He's still saving on 3s, and every dead one is every fail is a dead guard. And he just said it was downhill from there. So to Adam's credit, of course, he knows what he's doing. He's Team Canada. He smashes people, and he just wiped the floor with Jake last round. But all the props in the world to Jake. I've never played a top table final, so I certainly can't speak to that. That's a great accomplishment for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think we can start wrapping it up now.
I love it.
Yeah, we had a great time at Rumble of the Rockies. Thank you for Calvin for organizing this and getting it going. Thank you for Thomas for TOing it as usual.
Yeah, thanks for, I don't know where the Taps Games sponsorship comes from, but thanks to Taps Games in Edmonton.
That was awesome.
That was like some serious prize support. Yeah, that was really cool.
And those trophies were amazing.
And also, this is like
those trophies look really cool.
The trophies were very tall and like you could
drink beer out of them. Though. I don't know
if you tried real hard. You could.
No, because the front of it had like a swivel.
Oh, is this swivel?
Yeah, so you couldn't get through it. But that's okay.
But I was gonna like separate from this tournament. So I go to Edmonton for work all the time. Taps has a fantastic inventory of models.
Oh, cool.
They like D&D, board games, all kinds of stuff, but great inventory. Like if I want to go pick up a Knight Lancer tomorrow, they probably have one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super cool. Super
next time I'll
great
check it out.
Super great store. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Not sponsored. Their other stores are available, but just saying they're great guys.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, yeah. So we do this for free. We just love talking about Warhammer.
That's right.
We play competitively.
Yeah,
we also played a lot.
We are not sponsored by Taps. We don't get any sponsors.
No. We have no sponsors. We like just doing this for the sake of doing it.
That's right. Yeah.
We like getting competitive players. If you want to see some content, please leave it in the comments. Is there a faction focus you want to see? Let us know. Okay. We do film this out of a bar called Cax Bar Podcast. They have a podcast studio within the bar.
Love them.
So we get beers and shots. Well, we buy them. We buy beers and shots as we're playing.
They supply the beer and shots. Yeah, that's right.
While we're playing, or no, well, I mean, I guess sometimes while we play, because we did have a tournament here.
While we stream, while we podcast, the whole thing. Yeah,
and just talk about what's going on. This one was about the most recent tournament we were at. It was a lot of fun. We do faction focuses. Again, I know we promised last episode, but me and Ben are working on battle reports.
Yes.
We're working on it.
We're teasing battle reports. It's a lot of logistics, I think, to sort out and get right. It's not just two dudes talking at a microphone.
Yeah.
It's a camera situation. It's a microphone situation. Yeah. It's making a UI of some kind that people will probably enjoy.
Yeah. Is that something you want to see? Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as always, the biggest thing you can do for us is, like Cass says, comment, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Yeah. Right?
And we try to get them out weekly, and we love doing it. Honestly, this is so fun.
It is a good time. Okay. It is a good time.
Well, thanks for everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, love you guys.
Bye.